We are in No Regrets November at the time of this recording, and we are just sharing and enjoying and encouraging each other here. And we have a guest tonight, which is our fearless leader, Laura Hopkins, and she is going to be talking about something called, the abbreviation is NAT. Don't know if anyone's heard about it. Go ahead and raise your hand in the chat if you have. The first time I discovered this was this past summer. If any of you have had a raindrop, which we've been discussing a lot lately, you might feel like, oh, it's a lot. I want to make sure I get the technique right. I don't have it down. And it feels like it kind of stifles you in being able to share oils when you feel like, oh, maybe I just don't have that right. So getting on these phone calls and on this training is really helpful to expose us and to train us in little baby steps that help get us on that path. And for me, experiencing the NAT for the first time really encouraged me with, I can go home next week and start teaching all my people and my family how to start doing this and start receiving the benefits of oils, kind of a step up from simply diffusing or putting them on, and really be loving on my people in a way I feel is really intentional and creating and promoting great conversation and community and compassion. And that was my experience with my first NAT. So here tonight is to show us how it's done, and I hope you feel excited too. Please welcome Laura Hopkins.
So NAT is the acronym for Neuro-Aurciular Technique, and it was originated by Gary Young. So many of our techniques that we have came from Gary, and it uses a probe. It doesn't have to be like this. This is a jade probe that I have purchased because I like jade. And but any kind of glass tip, the end of a medical dropper. So your mineral essence bottles, that's a good use for that, the medical probe there. And then it uses 6 oils. It uses frankincense. I choose to use sacred frankincense. You can use frankincense or sacred. The next one is valerian, then vetiver, Roman chamomile, cedarwood, and royal Hawaiian sandalwood. And so those are all of the oils that you use. And there is a specific order. I'm going to show you a little bit later how to use it exactly, but those are the things that you need. When I first learned Neuro-Aurciular Technique, I was at Winter Harvest in January of 2020. And it was one of those things where Tamara Packer, who you guys have heard of, she teaches all of the raindrop technique classes that Young Living does. And okay, the main video feed here. Okay, so let me do this.
Is that better? Okay, so I'm getting feedback on my own ears, but we'll go ahead and take these out. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight, as I talk to you about this, is Tamara Packer taught us at Winter Harvest. And when she taught us, it was very casual. I'm turning this down if you guys can hear it. It was a casual teaching, because she was we didn't have notes. She said, basically, I'm going to teach you guys and you take your own notes. And we used ballpoint pens as the probe. So you can be very creative in the way that you want to do this. One of the things that I love about it, and the purpose of it, is the purpose is to fully awaken and restore full capacity to the locus coeruleus and the vagal ganglion at the base of the brain, and to connect all of the synapses of the brain and upper spinal cord, thus creating an environment that facilitates optimal health, healing, and bodily function. Sounds good. How about you guys? Who wants to sign up for that? So unlike raindrop, Neuro-Aurciular has one section. You repeat the same motions 6 times with all of those different oils. And you just do it over and over again. You use a lot of oils. These are, if you look at the oils that we're using, what's familiar about them? What's similar? They all have monoterpenes. Do they all remind you of something? Is there a connection between them all? You start look up those 6 oils and you'll maybe see some connections. But the purpose of Neuro-Aurciular and why Gary developed it is actually in the notes. Now, I can't say it out loud on the recording, but you get the notes and you look through it and then you'll understand it. But as I tell you a little bit about it, you guys are kind of going, okay, the loris coeruleus and the vagal ganglion, what are you talking about? So basically there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. They're nerves that emanate directly from the brain and not from the spinal cord. The first 8 pairs go to the eyes, tear ducts, ears, nose, tongue, and facial and chewing muscles, lips, mouth, teeth, and salivary glands. There are 4 pairs that extend from the brain to the throat, larynx, lungs, heart, liver, stomach, large intestine, small intestine, shoulders, and extend down out between the top 4 cervical vertebrae, which comprises the vagal complex. The fact that there is a pair of cranial nerves directly from the brain to the muscles of the shoulders explains why tense shoulders can lead to headaches, while stress in the brain, like worry, fear, anxiety, can cause tense shoulders. Okay, so the locus coeruleus is a mass of more than 1,000 nerves at the base of the brain. It's highly pigmented as a blush bundle of nerves, hence the name locus, which means location, and coeruleus means sky blue. The locus coeruleus is the central switching station of the body. Every nerve impulse controlling our voluntary muscles as well as our organs passes through this master control station. A principal purpose of NAT is to make sure this vital nerve junction is fully functioning along with the rest of the brain. The locus coeruleus or medulla is the only part of the brain that cannot be operated on surgically. It is the portal through which our vital life energy flows into the body, maintaining physical life. If this energy flow is interrupted, even for a split second, by a surgeon's knife or by anything else, our spirits are immediately disconnected from the body and jump to the next world. Spiritual, not physical. In other words, physical death is instant. Now, the vagus nerve, we talk about the vagal ganglion. The vagus nerve originates from 4 areas of the brain and exits through the vagal ganglion at the center of the brain, of the skull, in the vicinity of the locus coeruleus. The vagus nerve has 13 branches that all go to the vital organs of the body, including the esophagus, larynx, lungs, heart, stomach, liver, large and small intestine, spleen, and kidneys. It is through the vagus nerve that the vital functions can still be maintained if a person, even though they're quadriplegic and paralyzed from the leg down, they can still have function. So the vagus nerve is the largest of the 12 cranial nerves. The name vagus means wanderer because it wanders throughout the organs, the throat, chest, abdomen, as a direct wire to the brain, in addition to the spinal nerves that also serve these body parts. The vagus nerve is principally involved in parasympathetic activity, which is largely involuntary and often emotional. It regulates heartbeat, is involved with the release of tears in crying, controls digestion, and peristalsis, that's the of the esophagus and intestines, peristalsis motion. We talked about that when we were cleansing. It's also in charge of many production of hormones, including insulin, control of sphincter muscles, ovarian and uterine function, prostate function, and sexual responsiveness. It is the parasympathetic system that functions during healing and is mainly involved with protection, conservation, and restoration of the body, resources, and function. Sounds pretty cool. Is it interesting? It's who's interested in learn more. Okay, so that's just the basics of what we're going to be, why we do this. The outline of the technique is in the notes. Again, that is in the chat. I'm now going to switch cameras and go into another room where I have a lovely model waiting to show the technique. Putting my earbuds in, gonna pause this. Laura, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me? All right, so here I am. I have hello. There's Audrey. She is going to be our model for tonight. And what you're going to see is the actual technique itself. I'm going to show you where you apply the oils and where you need to use the probe. Okay, so first things first, I showed you the specific oils that we're going to use. I'm not going to do the entire technique. I am going to show you where you apply the oils and how you actually do the neuroauricular, so you can see and use this as your points. But you will, I'll show you which oil to use, but it's the exact same method. You're going to have the sequence that we do is basically 7 steps, and you're going to continue to do this each time. So first we start with frankincense. And of course, I mentioned earlier, I use sacred frankincense. And it's just a preference. Frankincense is fine too. It's actually in your notes as frankincense. The person that you're doing the NAT on needs to be lying down, face down. I prefer to do a massage table versus just a chair. I've heard some people can do that, but having an actual cradle, as you can see for the neck, is really kind of important. So there's support. So you need to have some kind of support available. Next, the technique is just, to me, it's like with Raindrop, you're going to be using a lot of oils. And so the person who's receiving definitely needs to have should be drinking a lot of water. It needs to be hydrating. It doesn't take as long, and you don't need, really, you just need access from about right here, the top of the spinal column, to your occipital ridge is all the area you're going to be working, and you're going to be doing the same techniques over and over again. So the first things first is that you would apply liberally sacred frankincense. So that means you're going to apply it to the base of the occipital ridge. And for those of you wondering, when I say occipital ridge, that's that base of the skull. So it's right in here, this base of the skull. You'll feel it when you put your hand there. You can feel it on yourself if you want to right now, to just kind of understand. You're dripping the oil from the bottle and then rubbing it in with your fingers across the entire occiput, making sure to include the oils at the center point right here, which is your locus coeruleus or medulla, this little point, this inset right here. Okay, is that comfortable, sis? It tickles. Okay, sorry. So you're gonna try to have to be still for me. So you put it right in here. You're going to take the probe at the base, whatever you're using, at the base of the loris coeruleus. And then while keeping the tip of the probe in the same spot, you're going to make clockwise circles a few times with gentle pressure. Then you ask the receiver if that's comfortable or not. And if it's not, lighten up. If you need more, you can apply more pressure. I've actually had this done before where the person was applying really heavy pressure. I thought it felt really good, but the next morning I did have a sore spot there. So just be mindful of that. Next, you place the tip of the probe on the right occipital bone, and then you move the probe side to side. And when we say right, that is going to be her right. So over here, this is her right, correct? Yes, okay. The right occipital bone. And then what you're going to do is you're going to move it side to side with the ridge, working slowly towards the loris coeruleus. So I'm working up that ridge. So now I'm at the center. Now I go over to the left occipital bone, and then I'm working up towards the base of the skull, ending both times at the loris coeruleus. Okay? Does that make sense? So you work the middle, round circles, then up on either side. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to, when you get to this part, then you're going to, There we go, the circular motions. This doesn't say, but I remember being taught that we do circle in the middle again, but it doesn't say we do. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go up to, now you're in the thoracic spinal area here. You're gonna go this T3 or T4, upper thoracic. It's not as important about where you start as long as it's the upper thoracic. So Audrey, could you relax your shoulders, let your arms kind of go off to the side a little bit? There we go. So I'm gonna start here. What you're going to do is you're going to be in between the vertebrae. So for me, and this is right here. So there's a bone here and a bone here. I'm going to go right in between it. And so T3 or 3-4. And then you're going to do a motion that's, you put the oil on again, you put your frankincense here, and then you're going to do a motion up and down, moving in between the vertebrae, up and down, 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 and then all the way to the loris coeruleus, and then we go around again. We've had that one spot, and then we do a round, okay? Now you're gonna go back to that same spot. Instead of being between the vertebrae, now you're gonna go on either side. So if you can imagine like you're tying a shoe, you know, with a shoelace, you have to go kind of zigzag down. So you're gonna zigzag, but when you go down, side to side, you go across first. So you don't go zigzag all the way down, you actually get each hole if you're thinking of like tying a shoe. Side to side, side to side, side to side. And then when you get back to that locus coeruleus, then you go circular motions again. Okay, then when you get down to this last part, I only have one hand since I'm holding the camera. What you want to do is you want to do the occipital ridge pull. And you basically grab, if I had two hands here, I would show you grab here, and you're grabbing here, and then you're going to pull, and then release, and then pull, and then release, and then pull, and then release. Once you finish all of those details, then you go back and you start over with the next oil. So it's a very simple process. It's just repeated over and over again. Thanks, sis. I'm good. You're done. So I'm going to open it up for questions now. If anyone has questions, I'll move back over here to the side, and you can ask me questions. Basically, it's the notes that are here tell you exactly how to do it. I'm a visual learner, so it was helpful for me to see it done. But reading more information about it is very helpful as well. So look over those notes, use the oils, be confident with it. It is a very efficient, and you'll do that process over and over again. I love to use the oils, apply them liberally, and it's very helpful to be able to do this regularly. The notes are in the chat. I don't know if Dominique can copy and paste those again. I put that at the top of the page whenever I joined tonight, and those were shared. Rhonda Favano shared those with me. It was after the learning this at Winter Harvest of 2020, I kind of stopped. I didn't bring it home and start using it. There could be a lot of reasons for why, but I'm very glad that Rhonda kind of helped revive it for me this summer. She retaught me, and I do think it helps having the notes and being able to use a probe. I had a probe instead of a ballpoint pen. That was helpful too. But again, if you have a dropper bottle, the dropper from a lot of our, like if your K&B tincture or mineral essence will work, it needs to be glass. I do not like to work with metal or even stainless steel. You want to think about what you're conducting through. Yeah, the tip is also important if that's comfort for the person that you're going to be, for the recipient. And because, you know, this is in a important nerve area. So does anyone have any questions for me?
While we're waiting for raised hands or people to unmute, I know that there was a question in the chat about, for those who are watching this recording later, will there be, will the document with notes, will that be texted out to us, or will you have it in the captions with the Vimeo recording later?
I can put that in the Vimeo notes. That's typically what I'll do with notes.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Thanks.
Sure. So for a lot of you who are part of No Regrets November, for you, we did raindrop last week. That was a really important technique that we talked about and how everyone needs to learn to do it. We're encouraging everyone in the month of December to gather all of their raindrop oils. And so in January, we want to challenge you in the new year to give and get. So being able to give a raindrop to someone who's never had one before, and also to find someone who you can trade with. So you can give raindrops to and they can give them to you. If you don't have someone locally that, some people are blessed enough to be able to have someone that they can go to, a massage therapist that can give them raindrops. But if you don't have that, get some oils, get your oils together, find a friend, you and that friend learn, and then you guys take turns giving each other raindrops. It's really beneficial to be able to receive them. Sarah was talking about how she gets them once a week. I have never done that, but that would be a really cool goal for this next year, is to start. Maybe it's not once a week for you, maybe it's once a month. Whatever you the rate you're getting raindrops right now, let's increase that. Let's get more raindrops. Let's get more oils on ourselves. I know a lot of you are like me, you give a lot of raindrops, but I want you to be a recipient as well. So what would be great is gathering those oils. The raindrop kit is currently out of stock. So just gathering the oils that you need. There's a lot of common oils that we can get. Replacing wintergreen. There's a lot of options out there. We're going to be talking about that on the essentials page soon. But then also gathering your NAT oils, gathering your sacred frankincense, gathering your valerian, your vetiver, your Roman chamomile, your cedarwood. Just about everybody has cedarwood. And then also, of course, sandalwood. Now I use Royal Hawaiian sandalwood whenever I do NAT. So this is something that you can teach a spouse to do, that you could teach a child to do, honestly. I have a 15-year-old, but I think when she was probably 8 or 9, she was already getting raindrops when she was in diapers. So why couldn't she start to learn Neuro-Aurciular? It's the same technique over and over again. So once you do it once, that's all you have to do. Once you learn it all the way through, that's all you have to do. So what other questions do you guys have out there?
I sent a chat message. Maybe I didn't click it right, but do you use the oils in the order that you listed them?
You do.
Okay.
You do. That's in the notes. It lists them there.
Okay.
And there's a purpose for it. I'll let you read that in the notes. And
Okay.
There's a lot more detail in the notes that I am not going to be repeating here, but
Okay.
you guys read it and you'll understand. I got this probe. It was a probe I found on Amazon. It's a jade probe. I can put the link to that as well in, I can share that on the replay of the class because I don't have that as readily available. I could go get that, see if I could find it on my phone, but this is a something simple. If you have a anything glass works really nicely as well. So you probably have something in your home, a dropper bottle that you could use as well. So,
And I was able
if you
to,
do,
sorry, go ahead.
So if you do get a rock or jade of some kind, quartz or something like that, you can, I think this was $12 or $15. It wasn't outrageous, but I think you want to make sure it gets cleared, that the frequency and the energy of all of your rocks are good and solid, because they did get handed around and passed around too.
Very true. And I found a glass one, a simpler. I just used the title and the notes as my help to figure out what to type in, and I found my glass probe on Amazon, and also very inexpensive. So very, very good. I did see a question here about what are the effects that you can expect, and I also am seeing what is the benefit for this oil treatment. So if you don't mind, Laura, I'll go ahead and offer what my experience was like, and then I'll let you answer both questions.
Perfect.
Again, my first experience of this technique was this past summer. I absolutely loved it. And what I got so excited about learning about it from Rhonda was that I personally felt a little bit intimidated about the raindrop because I'm not trained in it yet. And it's something that's really bothered me. I've really wanted to be able to love on my people that way. There's not a whole lot of people in my area that know about it or know how to give it. So it was something I felt a little intimidated by. When she started teaching it, I realized right away, oh, this is something I can start applying now. And when I got to receive one, I was thinking of all these people that I was like, I can go love on them now. The people that I want to give raindrops to, I can do an NAT on, and they can do it back, and we can just share time together. And so my personal feeling after receiving my first NAT was something similar to a raindrop. So, you're not feeling it all the way down your back, obviously, but definitely the emotional support, the releasing feeling, that extra lengthening of the spine that feels so good. I personally really love that. And the rest that came with it afterwards was really beneficial to me. I know a lot of other people experienced other releasing throughout their body during that time. But for me, that was a personal experience of something similar to what I feel with raindrop, what I personally feel with raindrop, but at a scale that I could manage, that I could immediately jump into. So I hope that answers your question. Do you want to handle the next one?
Sure. So we did cover at the beginning a little bit, if you joined late, we covered what the purpose of it was, and a little bit more about the area where we're working. But I can just in general repeat that the purpose of NAT is to jumpstart, to reconnect the synapses of the brain and the upper spine, particularly the locus coeruleus and the vagal ganglia. It's applied along the occipital ridge, as you guys saw, as well as the center, the base of the skull, and then the upper cervical spine between the neck and the shoulders. So the purpose is, honestly, my experience, the reason why I like to do it. My teenager who was here earlier probably says it best. She said, it's not like raindrop, but I feel like my head was clear. It's something that was very peaceful for her. But if you think about where you're working, where you're applying those oils with monoterpenes, and the technique that you're using in that vagus nerve, with all of those nerve endings are coming through there that connects your whole body. It's very peaceful, I think is the best way. I like how it made the tension in my neck versus my head, kind of help that subside. A lot of the oils you're looking at, again, the monoterpenes, what do monoterpenes do? So you answer that, not me, if somebody wants to answer that in the chat, because what we want to do is we want to bring optimal health. So giving our bodies opportunity to get to a place of balance, and also to have some muscle memory, to start training ourselves, to start training our bodies to stay there.
I think those are great descriptions, very accurate. I would say I feel the same. If you're someone who likes to put oils all over your chest to just cover your heart and cover your lungs and just feel more of what you're experiencing with the oils, then the NAT is just the next level up of feeling that and really just getting it all in, clearing your head. I love those descriptions. That's definitely what I felt as well. Very cool.
And I see that Joanna has, she said there's an online crystal store called Wild Alabaster that she shops, and that's awesome. We always want to, provide you guys with the best quality. So, using those known resources that are safe is a good thing too. So.
Very good. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? Either raise your hand or type them in the chat. Laura, I've really appreciated you sharing it again, because I was just thinking the other day, it's been a little while and I need to, as soon as you post this on Vimeo, I'm going to be sharing that link immediately with some friends that I was like, this is the thing I wanted to share with you over the summer. We just haven't gotten together yet. And so I'm excited for them to see what's to come and maybe encourage them that, they are loved and this is the best way I feel like I can love on them, and that maybe it'll help inspire them to see, oh, maybe I can ask for this regularly and do this for my own kids or my spouse or my family or something along those lines. And it's safe. It's a safe thing to do. How long does it take to do a complete NAT with all the oils?
It depends on, it honestly just depends on you, how quickly, how slowly. When we work with nerves, we work with people, especially someone with neuropathy, just like with raindrop, you might need to go slower if nerves are opening up again. So just however long it takes you to go through that. I only did that once. You do it 6 times with the different oils. So I was just showing you the techniques and how to do it. Then you apply it and then you move through it at your rate. I believe it can be done in approximately 20 minutes. It just depends on who's doing it, how long it takes. It could probably be done a lot less than that as well, but it just depends on the person giving and then also the comfort level of the one receiving.
I did notice a practical thing that did slow me down physically was just that my probe got slippier and slippier with the oils. And so your hand starts to go down, you're trying to do this, and it took longer that way, but it did help me actually slow down and breathe more and be more present for the person I was working with. So it all worked out. So I would say it didn't go past 30 minutes, that's for sure, but it was a lot. So
you don't have to get in a hurry. I mean, you're doing those different techniques. There's no reason to get in a hurry, to be mindful and intentional. I think that is, we can all practice that, right? I need to do it.
Definitely. We had another question there at the end. Oh, yes. Being in the notes, why are those the oils ones to use? And Laura had some great explanations. It is in the notes, and you do want to do it in that order. And it'll say again, why in the notes. So might add this to my raindrop class on Sunday. Oh, Charlotte, I was in your class. Yes, absolutely. At least just exposing it to people that, this is a option that, I had never even heard of it before. And so I think this is fantastic. And I love that there are different layers. There's no one formula that needs to happen for each person. Just being trained in sometimes baby steps is so good. And honestly, I think it'll help really increase my understanding of how a raindrop works, because I'm being introduced to some of the same biochemistry ideas of monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes and the effects of that. So, and just getting to know our bodies better.
Yeah, for sure. Charlotte mentioned something, because I did too. I thought this was because of the ear, because it was neuro-auricular. I think the reason, it's neuro meaning brain, nervous system, and then the auricular always being ear. But I think it's because you used an auricular probe, and the name of the probe was auricular because when you use the probe to work on the ear, I think it was named after the neuro-auricular, meaning neuro probe. I think that's maybe how I got the name it did, but it does not have to do with the ears. And that's a really good question. A lot of people think that too, but it does not. And it actually even mentions that in the notes. So hopefully this was good for everybody. And I want everyone to start using it, taking advantage of all the tools that you have. And then next week, we are going to learn more about VitaFlex and or / roll release, the roll release technique. And we're going to have a demonstration of that. One will be this week on the 7 Really Days Essentials page by care instructor Priscilla Harvey. And then we will have another one next week with Keely. You can get on and ask questions.
Yay! Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Keep joining throughout on Wednesday lives, and we're doing a room of freedom techniques, and there's just all sorts of ways to get these oils on. Everyone have a great, blessed week.
Bye.